We are live. And if you're wondering why we're live right now, I hope you tuned into the show, the Fan Zone earlier, and you would have found out that there was some lively conversation, and there was someone, Manny, specifically Manny, saying that there was going to be live after this game, after this Yankee and Red Sox game, and Manny disappeared. So here I am, Stephen Polius, alongside Mr. Wright, Chuck himself, and Mr. Really Sad right now, Eddie Gonzalez. And for those that have kept up with Smoky Mirrors or just the Sports Hit List, right? All the shows we have on here. You have heard myself, Greg, Manny, Chuck on numerous occasions talking about the Yankees or the Stankies, as Mike has said on a few occasions. And they got into the wild card, just barely got into the wild card, and there was celebration for that. You had some people, my co-host Declan Krogman, who couldn't make it tonight, but said a lot about how the Yankees were definitely going to get in. They were locked to be the home field advantage, and then they were definitely going to win this game against the Red Sox. And as we are sitting here now, final score was 6-2 Red Sox, and at no point were the Yankees in the driver's seat. Chuck, I want to give you a second to really have the floor and just, some people might call it gloating. I'll say just speak to the people and tell them the truth, the gospel.
Let me take a breath. Go ahead.
I will be honest. I was trying to find a black shirt because this is going to be Eddie's funeral. I decided to wear the black shirt instead. This kid Declan is ducking, so we're going to call him Ducking Declan.
Duckling Declan. I like it.
It rolls off the tongue. Listen, I don't want to gloat, but everyone called me a traitor, a Benedict Arnold, to say the least.
Yes.
But it was using these two eyeballs right here. It's the same story. It's the Twilight Zone. The same story over and over again. And it's been that way since 2018. They have the holes on the roster, and they did nothing to fix it. And if you would have thought that this would have been a World Series team, especially after last year, you had another thing coming. And that's what I tried to tell all of you, and Manny too, since they lost last year. I said it on the live right after they lost Game 5, the live right before the season started, halfway through the season, 2 weeks ago, and then today. But yet nobody believed. They all thought, something would happen. They would go on a run, and they couldn't even make it past the wild card round. Pathetic. That was easily the favorite in the American League. Got bounced in round 1. And that's all I got to say. Go ahead, Eddie.
Okay. Yankees.
Speechless.
I'm going to tell you. Earlier today, I asked for apologies. Right? I asked for apologies because the Yankees made the playoffs. And I'm going to be honest with you. I know I was asked to be on the show, but I was kind of hesitant because I wanted to wait until after this game because I didn't want to go and ask for apologies when I don't feel like they're going to make the – if they lost like they do right now, they technically didn't make the playoffs. Technically, they didn't.
The play-in, right? It's a play-in. You didn't make the playoffs.
I'm going to say technically they did not make the playoffs. So at this point, I was wrong. For me, I was wrong. I said it from the beginning. I said, this won't count. I'm not going to ask for apologies until the Yankees play a round. Yankees did not play a round of the game. I said that from the beginning. So at the end of the day, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apologize because I was wrong. The Yankees did not make the playoffs. The Yankees today, they crapped the bed. We could blame it on a whole bunch of things, but the fact of the matter is, here's the thing: this happens every single year. And what happened? Yeah, the pitching wasn't phenomenal, but they didn't hit. Again, they didn't hit. Stanton hit, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Some of his hits two of the hits that he got today, he stared at them. He should have been running. This is the playoffs. You gotta run them out. Okay? Now, don't get me wrong, momentum was shut off. But in the first inning, he should have been at second base. In the second at bat, he hit it off the wall. He should have been at second already, but he watched it.
He wasn't he at second? I thought he ended
No,
up.
he wasn't. He was halfway. If they didn't make the throw, he wouldn't have got to second base. He was almost halfway because he watched it. He watched it.
I was blown away. I was blown away by Kike and that relay.
Here's what people I don't think was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
If Stanton is hustling and they say, you know what, maybe I don't have a shot for Judge at home. Maybe they're trying to make a play at second. He didn't hustle, so there was no play at second. You never know. Yeah. That's what hustling does.
Yeah.
He hit the ball. He was incredible. I wish he would have hustled those 2 balls he hit off the wall. What are you gonna do?
That like the what if game, right? That's a big what if though, to say that, you know, maybe they do make the play at second, even though in a game that's close, I can't imagine that Kike hitting the cut, which is Bogarts, is gonna go, or Kike is gonna go straight to second on that and give up at the home plate. It's just, I mean, and again, this is speculation. This is a Yankee team that all they need is like that 1 run sometimes to get the motor going. I think the play is at home, 100%. Like Bogarts is going out there knowing he's wheeling home. And I mean, it started from the bottom of the first. Really, we have to talk about Garrett Cole. We haven't let Garrett Cole off the hook, but we needed to talk about him more. We need to talk about him more because Garrett Cole, the highest paid pitcher in the MLB, a guy that's supposed to be your horse that everyone was relying on, you don't throw him against the Rays because you needed him for this game, and you got exactly that. And what does he do? He lasts 2 innings. He gets it to the 3rd, can't even finish. All right. You have Bogarts with a home run, and you have Schwarber with a home run. And Schwarber's home run, I'll give it to Schwarber. That was good hitting. High fastball, 97. He just got all of it. But Garrett Cole, spider tackless Garrett Cole, hamstring injury. You can blame it on that and say that he wasn't fully healthy. I'll give you that. But still, 2 innings is just not what the Yankees could afford. And we spoke about it on Smoke and Mirrors. That bullpen is not the bullpen you want to rely on. And so, you know, here you are, Cole giving up runs early, and then Eovaldi absolutely dealing. And this is what you almost, it's like a upside down world, right? Or you're looking at Twilight Zone where Eovaldi's pitching the kind of game you expect Garrett Cole to pitch. He got in there and is dominant. His fastball looked good. The slider at first, he wasn't really getting it across. He's trying to throw it outside. He started getting him like early in the count, low and like middle. But his everything for Eovaldi was working. The split, the slider, the fastball. I will say the first base umpire is ready to punch anybody out on any check swing. But I loved every second of that game. It was exciting. It was exciting based on for you Yankee fans. You know, Chuck, you had them winning, and so you were waiting for it to turn around, and you did call Eovaldi getting taken out by Alex Cora, which I thought was a mistake. He gives up the home run, and then it's a single after that, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or was it a double?
Yeah, by Judge.
It was a single. No, it was infield single.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was no need. I mean, I thought it was premature, and at that point, I'm like, man, the Yankees going to put up some runs. It didn't end up happening, luckily. But I want to ask you, Chuck, as you're watching this game and kind of speaking to Garrett Cole, it wasn't too much to watch of it, but what can you say of that? I mean, as a Yankee fan, you already knew and you called a lot of this, but the moment he had to rise to the occasion, this was the biggest moment of his time in pinstripes.
Right. Yeah, I think early on Mike and Manny's show, I didn't expect much out of Cole. I thought he would have went longer, but yeah, I think he had the hamstring injury and they rushed him back. Like he didn't even like miss a start. So it's kind of like, oh, well, you hurt your hamstring. Here's the ball in 5 days because they were chasing a playoff spot. So they rushed him back. He was terrible in his final 3 starts to end the season. And I know that because I lost in my fantasy championship because he put up a stinker. And so I didn't expect much. I thought he would go at least 2 times through the order. He would pitch until like the 4th or 5th inning, and then that was it. But he put up a dud. But it didn't get to a point where like the game was out of hand. Boone did the right thing. I'll give him props to come and get him because he had nothing. And you could tell because his control was all over the place. For a guy who usually has pinpoint control, it was everywhere. And like you said, the home run to Schwarber, you can't really blame him, but he missed on that pitch. That was supposed to be a fastball, up above the strike zone, and the home run to Bogarts. That was a 93-mile-per-hour changeup that's right down the middle. So of course that's going to be taking a dead center. So I mean, for the Cole thing, I can't really, yes, he put up a stinker, but it wasn't the main reason why they lost. And the game was lost in that 5th inning when Nevin sent Judge on the stand, and the Red Sox did the relay. And then in the bottom half of that inning, the Yankees couldn't do their own relay, which exploited how the team's so bad fundamentally and everything. And that's one of the reasons why they struggled again this year. They had Torres playing out of position, and Eddie, that's why I said they shouldn't have re-signed LeMahieu, because Torres is your second baseman. They should have just let LeMahieu walk and signed a legit shortstop. And LeMahieu did not live up to expectations this year, and he has an additional 4 years now. Plus, he's 34, coming off a sports hernia surgery. So he's your first baseman of the future. Rizzo's gone. They should have gotten the shortstop. They needed a center fielder. And I know Gardner picked it up late, but how much time did they waste, throwing out, the scrubs like Tyler Wade out there, to play center. So they basically kicked themselves in the butt, and they dug their own grave, and it was so easy to see. And Gary Sanchez has to go. I'm sorry.
Man, to not be in that game because you're relying on a better defensive catcher at that point, like that just shows you that he's not meant for that team. He's just not a good fit. That he's your best bat, obviously behind the plate, but he needs to be your best catcher because he needs to be in that game, not pinch hitting when it doesn't matter anymore, because that's exactly what happened.
He wasn't going to catch anyway because Higgy is Cole's personal catcher, so he wasn't going to catch anyway.
What I'm saying is that if the statistics and the analytics showed that it was not a huge difference between when Sanchez called him and I forget what's the other guy's name again?
Higgy.
Yeah, Higgy. Yeah, Higgy. Like, if there wasn't a huge difference, Gary Sanchez is behind the plate.
But I don't think Sanchez has caught Cole though. But
Eddie, Cole is out of the game in the 3rd, and Sanchez did not come up to hit for Higgy at any point.
Yeah, because they were waiting for him in a big.
It's not just. It wasn't just about Cole though. It's that he gave you your best chance behind the plate. You're talking about a game now where you have to steal strikes. Like that umpire, you could have got it. You don't want to put a catcher back there that is not going to help you out defensively. And that's what it came down to. And if Gary Sanchez, in the most pivotal moment of your season as a Yankee fan, if he can't give the team what they need, why is he there really?
I agree that they have to get rid of him, but I completely disagree with you about LeMahieu. One of the main reasons they didn't get an offense going is because LeMahieu wasn't there.
The offense hasn't been going all year.
LeMahieu's been injured almost the whole year. He's been complaining about hip injury the whole year. They played him the whole year like that. He's been complaining with his hip. They should have sat him out.
But now he's out because of a groin injury. So that's another injury. He's had 3 injuries this year.
Exactly.
The hip. And
he
now
it's what it is. The fact that he still hit like 270, being injured the whole year. LeMahieu is not the killer for you. The killer was when the Yankees said, let's go ahead and let's sign Aaron Hicks to that stupid contract. That's another reason. That was it right there. As soon as they signed him to that stupid 4-year contract, I'm like, what are you gonna do now? Gardner wasn't gonna be playing. Gardner was gonna be platooning. You had to put him out there. You had to. You needed experience, and the reason that they needed to put him out there is because they said, let me go ahead and give it to Aaron Hicks. Aaron Hicks is going to go and sign a 4-year contract. That was stupid. That was very stupid.
And now look at it like this, right? Hicks got injured, LeMahieu got injured, and now they're playing, the bottom of the barrel guys, right? Mm-hmm. That's because they don't know how to develop players. How many times do we see other teams call up guys and right away they click and they produce? But for some reason, the Yankees can't get that. Florio was supposed to be a 5-tool prospect, and he can't even make the roster. Florio,
he played well when he was up this season, and then he got sent back down. I just think that they should have taken a chance on him.
And I think the Yankees' problem is also that they go ahead and they don't if they're not going to commit to the prospect when they're at their highest peak, they need to trade them. Like Clint Frazier, that was a mistake. Like Luke Voigt this year, that was a mistake. You got Rizzo. You had no intentions of putting. You don't like to put a solid DH. So of course Luke Voigt's going to miss a lot of at bats. Luke Voigt should have been traded. I love Luke Voigt. I would like him on my team. Unfortunately, you have no spot for him once you got Rizzo.
It was a poor deadline in that sense.
Clint Frazier, you could have got rid of him. Either Gio or Shella, or I like Gio, but maybe you could have got rid of Andujar a year before he got injured. Because you're like, he's going to hurt you defensively, so you weren't going to start him there anyway. They should have been trading him, but they didn't. That's the problem.
Hold on, Chuck. I'm sorry, Chuck. Eddie, I just want to let you know in the comments, you have a few people that are, calling you out. And Mike, he's up. He wanted to ask you, rather, are you going to pop the bubbly for brunch on Sunday?
No, I'm actually going to pop non-alcoholic beer because I don't deserve to drink real alcohol.
You're not wrong for that. You're not wrong for that. And my thing is too, they're like, for the Yankee fan like Declan, right? And I want to call it Declan specifically because he was very adamant on, and Eddie, you were too, but I'm on the show with Declan, so it's like, I hear the take live, baby, so he's so very adamant about the Yankees, knowing the flaws, right? Knowing the holes on the team, knowing that pitching was not a strength and that their hitting was inconsistent. Getting what they got from Stan was truly amazing in the latter half of this season. But that's not someone you expected to hit the way he hit. And he was adamant that this was an easy game. He doesn't fear the Red Sox, doesn't fear the Rays, the Yankees, getting home field advantage. And time again, the Yankees did show their true colors, right? Every now and then they popped out, had a good series, and they did have the winning streak, which was then met with a losing streak, which saw them drop. Well, it wasn't a drop too. The Mets took that series from them. So I just, Yankee fans, because Eddie, you were in the chat. We were talking. You're like, "Oh, I'm not a Met fan. What are you talking about?" Because you were hoping that something would happen in the seventh inning, eighth inning, and I told you this game is over. The Yankees had no fight, save for Stan's home run that was meaningless. But Yankee fans, Eddie, you specifically, and Declan, the fans like you, I want you, like, the heartbreak you feel is what we as Met fans feel. And that's why when I was, as I'm watching this game play out, it's so fun to be in my seat and not have to stress about, oh my God, I hope that they don't let up a run here. Bases loaded, Verdugo up, 2 outs. What does he do? Line a single into left center. Like, those are the heartbreaking moments that a Met fan is used to, because it never goes their way. And this season, it didn't go the Yankees' way. There were a lot of things they could have done differently, as you guys mentioned. But ultimately, seeing the look on your face is like dessert. I had dessert earlier. This is my second serving, my second helping. So nice. I wish Declan was on.
At least I'm here. I can take it.
100%. I'm happy you're here. Some people ducked. All right, Declan, that's you. Duck and Declan, as your name is now.
I have a question for you, because here's the thing. Carl's gonna hate me for this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Carl's gonna hate me.
What if? It's a what if?
It's a what if. Because I was confident in my Yankees. I'm confident in my Yankees.
Okay.
But in
confident
the playoffs, honestly, it's who produces, right? What if tomorrow the Cardinals go ahead and shock the Dodgers? What if that happens tomorrow? The Dodgers are clearly the better team. They're clearly the better team. It's clearly. Yeah. But what would happen? What would happen if, because the Cardinals are the hotter team?
Yes.
Momentum. I guess momentum. What if that take? I don't anticipate. I anticipate the Dodgers to go all the way. Then again, I also anticipated the Yankees to go all the way. So who knows what the hell is going to happen? But what happens tomorrow if the Cardinals somehow? I would call it a shock.
Mr. Wright, you want to take it first?
Yeah, I mean, it would obviously be a shock. The Dodgers won, 106 games? Yeah. Probably, the favorites to win the National League, and I think they still are, according to Vegas. But, I don't think fans would get too crazy, because guess what? They won a World Series last year. They've been to the World Series. The Yankees haven't sniffed the World Series since 2009. So, yes, it will be a shock. They're pitching Scherzer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
We'll see. But listen, in a one-game playoff, anything can happen. But the Dodgers have pressure on them. And yes, it will be a failure because they were supposed to be the National League representative in the World Series. So, and they didn't even win their division. So it's already kind of
tougher division than we expected.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, Eddie, you'll be 100% correct. It'll be a failure, just like how the Yankees season was. But it's more on the Yankees because they haven't succeeded and they keep going through the same struggles, and yet they do nothing about it. And like you even said, they prospect hug. You just mentioned Frazier, Andujar. They're supposed to be ready, the operational Death Star, or whatever the hell Cashman called them. Yet they let Machado go to San Diego. They let Harper go down to Philly. Why? If you're all in, go all in. You know how many GMs
pockets aren't that deep like they used to be.
Imagine how many GMs wish they had the payroll that the Yankees had, and they can go out and get these guys. But no, instead of watching Harper in center field tonight, we had to watch Brett Gardner. Instead of watching Manny Machado either play shortstop or third base, we had to watch Urshela and Velasquez. That's the difference.
And Odor later in the game.
Right. They don't go all in, and they look for these reclamation projects. So that way, when they succeed, like how Voit succeeded and Urshela, Cashman could look like, hey, I'm the smartest guy in the room. But guess what? Where are your rings since 2009 to show that you're the smartest guy in the room? Where? You won one World Series since the start of the new millennium. One. That's the Yankee way? Yeah. I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree with you, Chuck. Same thing. I mean, it would definitely be a failure for the Dodgers, a team that we had. The expectation was the Dodgers are going to win the NL West, and they didn't. We saw what the Giants did. They got into the wild card. Similar to the Yankees, there were expectations. The Yankees had expectations going into the season. So when you don't meet those expectations, we will. There's the bus. There's the chorus that's going to be like, how could they with the payroll you have, with the talent you have? So you will see that, you will hear that. But to Chuck's point, they did win recently. Won last year. You know, you when you have a ring, when you're sitting on a ring recently, it doesn't ring the same when you lose the following year. You know, like, yes, it's going to be an issue. People will talk about it. It's going to be a headline. But these Yankees losing as a headline. Also, we're in a New York market, not LA, like a LA market. Like, when the Yankees lose, yes, I feel it more than like if the Dodgers lose. Like, the Dodgers lose to me, it's news and we talk about it. But my friends and family members, some of them are Yankee fans, not Dodgers fans. And so my immediate bubble, my circle, I have to hear all your chirping about my Mets, and I have to deal with being the second team in New York. So personally, when the Yankees lose in the fashion that they lost, it means so much more, like I said, than if the Dodgers were to lose. I do want to bring something up though, because and you know, you spoke about it, Chuck, a little bit with Rizzo, right? Rizzo's gone, even though he was a major piece for the Yankees. Declan was someone who was high on his horse, because as soon as Rizzo got in the pinstripes, he was hitting. And he made a difference for your team defensively, offensively. Joey Gallo was another person. Even I was on record saying Joey Gallo was going to be someone who in Yankee Stadium his home run numbers are going to go up. Maybe the average doesn't go up, but his OBP was already ridiculous and the home runs are going to go up. When we talk about the lights of New York, they shine very bright. And to me, Joey Gallo got very small coming from a, Rangers organization where when he did poorly, he wasn't beat down the way he was here. The fact that he's batting 160 something, I think you said, Chuck, as a Yankee, and he was batting 199 on the season, he was the automatic out. I mean, you could pitch around Stan, even though they didn't. You could pitch around Stan and get to Gallo. All the power in the world in a stadium that he could probably take the ball out of easily. The man went 0 for tonight. Like, Yankees making the same mistakes Mets did, going for guys that really didn't help them down the stretch. And when it comes to the Gleyber thing, as far as Gleyber and LeMahieu, Gleyber having the age, Gleyber looked good at second. Those two plays that were hit to him, it made you think, man, imagine if he was there all season instead of forcing him at short. Because when he was playing second base, Gleyber Torres was the prospect that every Yankee fan was drooling over. He gets moved, the numbers go down, and people are ready to move away from him. But putting him at second base now, because let's say you had him at second, you have Rizzo at first instead of LeMahieu, who you signed and is an older guy with injuries. It just, you don't want to be older, especially for the Yankees. You don't want to be older with some of these players when you have all these young guys that are in your farm system ready to come up. But, you know.
Yeah, but with the one thing you're not mentioning with LeMahieu,
Yep.
LeMahieu can play every position.
He can.
At that point, yes, he can. Yes, he can.
Now it's over.
He can play before he got hurt. Now he could play all the positions. Which for the Yankees don't like using a DH. They don't like using a straight DH. So what does he allow? He allows that he could fill in a position, give somebody a day off, and then you can go ahead and rotate the DH with whoever you want.
But you can't because Stanton's your full-time DH.
No, he's not. He's not your DH. Right now he's playing the outfield. Today he was. They had
to because Hicks died again. The guy Hicks dropped dead. He was a ghost, and then he somehow appeared in the team celebration photo Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he was good in the outfield. You can put him in the outfield. But they won't because they think he's going to get hurt. Another Yankee way of trying to be the smartest guy in the room. And you know what I mean? They just beat themselves. Of course, but it's hard in the New York Lights. I'm going to tell you, in the New York Lights, you can go ahead and think someone's guaranteed. You can go ahead and say, oh, this is a great player. Let me sign him. And guess what? They might suck. It's hard. That's why for me, when you guys were saying trade Judge, you're gonna trade him.
That was my next one.
You're gonna say trade him. You can say trade him.
Yeah.
But you already know that Aaron Judge can play in New York. You trade him for who? Luis Castillo. And Luis Castillo turns into who?
No.
So who do you trade him for?
Well, look at what Judge did this season. I mean, who wouldn't want an Aaron Judge? Anyone that, not even a person that, sorry, Chuck, before you go, not even the team that needs an outfielder. That's an upgrade, right? If you're not looking for an outfielder and the Yankees are shopping Judge, you're calling the Yankees. You're calling the Yankees to figure out, well, what's the price? And the price is going to be really high. Judge made himself very valuable to the Yankees. And earlier when we were, early in the season when Greg and I were talking about, well, if you have to trade someone because the Yankees needed a boost, you trade Judge. It made the most sense. He gave you back the most pieces. He wasn't as valuable then as he is now. So if the Yankees wanted to, let's say you retool, keeping Judge is like, okay, maybe you can make yourself marginally better. And they did make it to the wild card. So maybe they make a little noise with some of the moves. And I don't know who the free agent pitchers are out there right now. But if you want to make the splash that your team can retool with just one move, Aaron Judge is that piece. Point blank, period. There's nothing else to talk about. Am I wrong?
No, and look at it. I'm going to hit on 2 key points.
Yeah.
You trade Judge, you already have his replacement in Stanton. So you're not losing.
But that's not the question. The question is, tell me who are you trading Judge for? It's very easy to trade him. Get him a pieces. Who are you trading him for? Who? Give me a name. I need a name. Who in the market are the Dodgers gonna say, hey, I'll give you Scherzer? Because that's what he's worth. Are the Yankees gonna say? Are the Mets gonna say, give me DeGrom?
You look at it like this.
What's the market?
What did the Red Sox do? Mookie Betts.
Who did they get? Verdue got a hit. Whoa, he's a 280 hitter, 13 home runs. He's a decent piece.
Where are the Red Sox right now? Where are the Red Sox right now?
But he's not.
They're in the postseason right now.
He's Devers. Devers saved their ass.
While in about 6 hours, the Yankees will be on the first tee.
But it wasn't because of Verdugo. It wasn't because of Verdugo. The Devers is.
But it goes to show. It just goes to show that one player doesn't make your team. And if you're not going to sign him long term, especially think about it, Judge finally had a fully healthy year and put up an MVP caliber season, and they still couldn't make it to the big dance. Think about that. Think about what he did this year, which goes to show there's problems around the whole team. And if they were smart, this is why I said to trade Judge, because you got 3 big prospects about to come up in Dominguez, Arias, and Volpe. And that's who you should build around. This team is not good. They are flawed. and they might not have the moves to go out and fix all of them. Rizzo's gone. I personally think the Marlins are going to throw $500 billion at him to be that turnover from rebuilding to contender. He's a Miami guy. That's what they're going to do. Now that leaves you with LeMahieu's going to play first. The injuries, he's not going to have the same flexibility and movement. He's signed for like another 4 years. He's 34. He's your first baseman. Torres is second base, like Steph said. Much better at second base. I hope they sign Seager. Seager is the play. And then it becomes, what do they do? Do they envision Volpe as that next guy? Because then you're going to run yourself into trouble with too many guys and not enough spots, which is what happened this year. And like you said, they held on to Voit for what reason? There was no reason to. Voit should have been gone. And you know what? Now he probably is gone. And they're not going to get anything for him.
Yeah.
But I still need to know a name. Who are you trading for Judge? It's very easy to say that. Tell me.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing. I did not go into this live with a list of starting pitchers or relief pitchers or position players that would be a good move for Judge. Chuck, if you have the time right now, you can look at it. But
I got you. No worries.
Yeah, please. Because to think of that off the bat, I'm like, I would have to know more about, one, who are the free agents that are coming out, and two, when it comes to the value you want to get back for Judge, really, you want to start it. You want to start a pitcher, to me, right? You need someone else besides Cole, and you don't have to have a 1 or 2 guy. You can get a solid 3 guy, and if you take a 2 or 3 guy, that means you can get more value in a position player. You can fill another need, another hole. Which this is back to Chuck's point. They didn't need to sign LeMahieu, and then you move Judge. Like Gallo's not going to say he's no one that belongs in New York. So you're going to have 2 outfield positions that are opened up. You can find a team. You're looking to pair yourself with a team that you can take outfield talent, whether it's a young talent or it's a developed player, a developed outfielder. But you want to have the pitching. So to me, you're getting an arm and you're getting a bat or 2. And if you're getting 1 bat, you're getting a prospect. You're getting a prospect with Judge. Judge right now, the way that he is played, you talk about getting 3 players or two major league ready players or major league players and then some picks. That is a huge haul for the Yankees. And to me, I wouldn't necessarily, if I'm Cashman, get another prospect that you want to add to a list of prospects that maybe you hold on to too long, but they can get major league players for Judge that make an impact next season. And I said pitching and outfield is where you probably want to fill that void.
So think about it. You got till December. If you can't think about it before the winter meetings.
Oh, you got it, Chuck. Hit him.
2 trades off the top of the dome. What if Cashman calls Seattle tomorrow and goes after Kalenic and Kirby, and George Kirby, who's a top 100 pitching prospect?
Yep.
Or so you get your replacement for a Judge right away, and you get a top pitching prospect and probably another prospect. Or you call St. Louis. Carlson, who was a former top 100 spec, who's putting together, starting to turn it around. Liberatore, who's a top, 50 left-handed pitching prospect. The Yankees could use another lefty in their rotation, and he'll probably be up next year. So those are already 2 trades where you're getting 2 high-profile guys, because you're not going to signing Judge long-term might hurt more than do good.
How do you feel about that, Eddie? You seem like you're not sold.
I don't think
anything you could have said would have sold you, though.
Listen, we've been Yankee fans for years, okay? We've been Yankee fans since at least 2000, right? How many pitchers have the Yankees went and got? And you're like, wow, they're going to be great, or they're going to be good. Javier, Velasquez, Carl Pavano, Randy Johnson sucked, Kevin Brown sucked. Some people can't play in New York.
Are you adding Garrett Cole to that list? Are you adding Garrett Cole to that list?
Right now he is. Right now he is. But I'm saying the problem is that you're taking a risk in trading someone that you know can play, somebody who can lead, who plays defense, who plays offense, gets on base, okay? He doesn't cause any trouble, for a risk of somebody who's probably not going to work out. I would not replace him. If I'm trading Judge, I'm not trading him for an outfielder. Forget, you can keep Kalenic. Go ahead. I don't care. I know Judge can produce. I know Judge will produce.
Now, let me ask you this. How much work to the roster do you think needs to be done?
They need to figure out the shortstop and third base section of the field. They need to. I think they need Sanchez. Got to go. Sanchez got to go, but Higgy's not the answer. I don't think Higgy's the answer. I think Higgy's good for a platoon guy. I think maybe he's the guy to give it a rest. I don't know who the replacement is, but in my opinion, Higgy's not a starter. I think Higgy's not a good enough hitter. He'll hit like 140 if you put him in there. Okay. I love Andrew Velasquez. The problem with Andrew Velasquez is he's just all glove. Then again, the Yankees have offense, but today they didn't show it. But I love Andrew Velasquez glove. He's a good player to have. I think that we do need starting pitching. I think we do need starting pitching, but I just don't know who the answers are. Off the top of my head, I want Luis Castillo, and I think we can get him without with trading some of our extras that we don't use.
Like who? You know what I mean? Like who? You wanted to know who we would trade for Judge. Who would you trade to get Luis Castillo?
I trade.
He finished the season strong, by the way.
I'd go maybe two prospects. I'd go Andujar. I'll try and toss up Andujar or Voit with them. I'd see if they'll bite with a hitter. I'll see if they'll bite. Now, why not?
I think you're trying to make this patchwork quilt of like pieces that would get Castillo back. But I mean, Voit is a nice piece because offensively, yes, he is someone that is an imposing figure, and you have Votto, who's done better season this year, but that would be the replacement. And I just don't think that's enough though. Like Luis Castillo is a front end starter. He is a number one. So when you say like, oh, we can use some other pieces, it's like, well, I don't think you patchwork that together. Why does Cincinnati want that? This is a team that sold out on defense just to get offense and it helped them. They were really close to making a wild card. But I'm not saying that there isn't a piece besides Judge that can be moved and the trade could work. I just don't think that it's as simple as, oh, let's give them Void and do all the players we don't need and want. And we get Castillo. We take fair trades off and it happens.
Quickly, look at it like this. They need a catcher, a shortstop, probably a third baseman, and a center fielder, right?
Yeah.
So that's 4 players in your everyday lineup. That's already half your lineup. Now go to pitching. They need a number 2 because Kluber's not coming back. They need an innings eater for number 3 because Tyon is not that because he can't stay healthy. So that's 2 stars. So that's almost half of your rotation. Then you go into the bullpen. You have Chapman. You have Loizaga, like you said, is probably going to be their next closer.
Yes.
And, you have a couple of other guys, here and there. But you still need, probably 1 or 2 high leverage guys.
I would say one more high leverage guy for sure.
And they probably need another lefty because Britton is out for the whole year. So they need – so how many is that? That's already like 8 starters that they need.
7, 8. Yeah, 8 or 9 you're at.
So they need 9, high-quality guys to fill roles. And do you think that's going to be done in just one offseason?
No. You will be able to get the shortstop if you pay the money since you have some high-profile shortstops that are available. And that's just one need. So you still have 8, let's say, after that.
I think they blew
the market.
I think they blew it. To be honest with you, I think that next year, I think that Toronto, I think this was their trial year. And I think Toronto set up for the next couple of years to be an excellent team. So I think that it's going to be very hard. I don't know what the moves are to make sure that the Yankees are competing for a playoff spot. I don't know what the moves are because I know that Toronto is going to shoot up. And I think Tampa Bay is going to stay the same, meaning they're going to be a 100-win team or close to it. Boston, you never know. They could shit the bed next year, or they could be the same team, So it's going to be a little rough. I'm keeping it real. It's going to be a little tough.
And on top of everything, they need better bench players. You can't go a whole season with Tyler Wade as your backup left fielder, right fielder, center fielder, shortstop, everything. I mean, he's decent, but that can't be your first guy off the bench once there's an injury. So they need more athletic guys that could play 3, 4
depth. Yeah.
And which is why I kind of like the Gallo move because Gallo could play all 3 outfield spots plus third base and first base. So, that's something that they didn't have in an athletic player.
He has another year, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be interested to see how he bounces back in this offseason and how he trains, because I do think that the lights were too bright for him here to perform as good as they needed him to. Before we wrap up, because we've been going for a little bit now, I'm going to just thank everybody that's in the chat right now that's come out. I know it's 12:22. All right, so no, it's a school night, so appreciate y'all for being out here listening to us after that. I mean, it was a beautiful game for me. For some people, it was a disgrace and a mockery. But Eddie, I got a question for you. I would like to know when you're at your saddest and when the world around you seems like it's falling apart. In this case, the Yankees lost, so it's just very, very sad. What do you take solace in? What is your comfort food maybe that you usually eat? Like what can we?
I eat everything. However,
what's a comfort food?
It's not necessarily comfort food. It's more so that I know that it's time. It's basketball season. Baseball season's over.
You're a mess.
You are a mess. I was gonna say for some people, like I was curious. I wanted to know. Well, I'm getting there. No, not you. No, not you. See, I was asking what your comfort food was because I have a lot of other Yankee friends in my life, and I want to be able to offer them advice and be there for them, that shoulder to cry on. When they're going through this tough time of their team not advancing into the postseason because they choked. For some people, they thought they choked, but they just didn't have the pieces to get there. I would have recommended Crow. That's what I would say. The best meal for them would be Crow. But if you had something else that would be better than Crow for them, I would offer that.
Crow is it.
Crow is the best.
You know what? My Crow.
Declan, I'll have some hot Crow ready for you on Friday.
To be honest, I mean, when my teams lose, I have no appetite. I just sit there sulking, just replaying like every what if moment in my head, thinking like, is this real life right now?
Yeah. And also what's interesting to me, because I this happens a lot, when someone's team advances, the other team doesn't, especially when you're in a city where you have two teams. You're on the couch, your team's on the couch. Everyone talks about, oh, yeah, you guys have been on the couch for how long? Well, the Yankees won one extra game to come back on the couch and hang out with the Mets, right? You guys got to play one extra game of baseball. It's nice. Eddie, you've been a great sport. I'm happy you came on. There were a lot of other Yankee fans that did not come on. And Chuck, even though you are a Yankee fan, we know what you call it pretty much all year. So it's great to have you. I enjoyed you on Fan Zone today because there's nothing like a Chuck rant.
and ready for this one? I already have my first hot take for next season.
Oh, please.
My first hot take. Aaron Judge will be their everyday center fielder next year. And I think because they already teased it this year because they wanted to get Stan in the field. And Judge is coming up on a contract year. And you don't think center fielders get more money than the other two positions? So Judge is going to push to play center so that way he can cash in even more. So center field is going to be his choice. Is going to say, I want to be the center fielder, which will probably help Hicks because that guy is a walking hospital bill. But Judge will be their center fielder.
Do you think the Yankees are better for that, though? I think he's a solid right fielder. I've seen him make some really great plays. I think he can get exposed in center field. That's how in 162 games, however many ever he plays, I don't look at him as a center fielder. Like Joey Gallo to me has more speed and more athleticism in the outfield than Judge. So yes, he can be there. There are other players that play center field and they do a decent job, but I don't know if center field would make Judge the best player.
I think for a season, and I think he's only going to be 30. The guy can move. I know he's like 6'7".
He's a big dude. He moves very well for his size. Even down the line tonight, it was great.
Yeah, and I think his height helps him cover more ground that he might not get to. Yeah. So I think that helps him in a sense, and having Gallo and Hicks to his left and right will probably help him more because they're pretty good defensively. So I think they away with it, but I think he's going to want to push to play center field.
I mean, I can see that. All I'm saying is that, like, your right field, when you're a right fielder covering a gap and you're a center fielder covering both gaps, it's very different. And that's why I talk about exposure. Like, he could get exposed being in center field because he could be quick. He's not fast. And unless he gets better at his reads. He has good reads, but he'll have to have different reads being in center field. So I'm curious if they do go that route to try and fill that void using Judge instead of keeping him in a position where he's clearly excelling. What do you feel about that, Eddie?
No, I agree with that. I think he'll be an excellent center fielder.
Excellent.
I think he'll be an excellent center fielder. I'm high on Judge.
Yeah, you are high on Judge. You're storing that up.
If that's going to keep him here, I like Gallo for what he can produce. Yeah. He has a rifle. I've seen him seen him live. I didn't realize how great his arm was until I saw it, and I saw him
95 or 96.
Holy crap! He's got a rifle, and for the most part, he can read the ball very, very well. He's good fast.
Defensively.
He's pretty fast. He's pretty fast. I just don't like his. I don't think his bat is good for Yankee Stadium, primarily because he sees a short porch, and he's going to overswing when he does swing. He has a good eye because he leads the league in walks. However, he's going to strike out a lot going for that fence because he sees it so short. It's a short porch. You're gonna, I think he's. I don't know.
To be honest, to quickly touch on Gallo, you guys say, the bright lights and everything. Like, the guy has Tourette's, and I kind of feel bad because this is New York.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. How many times have we seen him start to go crazy when they're asking him questions? Like tonight, they showed him and left, and all he was doing was taking off his hat to read the chart or whatever.
Yeah, read the shifts.
Out. Like, I feel so bad for the guy that you can't really fault him for it, but that could have an effect considering the type of coverage that you get when you play.
I can see that. Mm-hmm.
So
I didn't know that. Thank you for educating me. I didn't know that.
No problem.
Yeah, I heard about that recently. I didn't know that when he was with the Rangers, but I found that out recently. And you're right, Chuck. That does play a huge part in it. And it's just real quick because it's similar. Naomi Osaka, when it came to the Open, I forget which one it was, but her having to bow because she couldn't handle her media obligations. I think that's something that you might see more and more. And players that like Gallo, who maybe he can perform better if he doesn't have to have the same obligations that some of these other guys do, or we put him under the lights or behind the cameras to receive the scrutiny that every New York player does. It's like, well, I know it's New York and everyone's like, you have to get tough skin. That's just the motto. You have to have tough skin. But someone like Gallo, who he could have been a better player for the Yankees, and that could have played a huge factor in him just succumbing to the pressure, because he just, from the time he got into the pinstripes, there were very few highlights. So we'll see. Well, he has another year. He has another year, and he has time to get acclimated.
We have a whole winter now, Eddie. We have a whole winter now. Open up that checkbook. We have to go get Corey Seager. If we don't get Seager, I'm sick. I'm done.
I don't think you guys are gonna really open up the checkbook that wide. Like, you really should, but I don't know if they will. They don't want to go over the luxury tax. They've been worried about that since Hal took over.
But now that it reset, they could exceed it without having the big penalties.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
before we go off there really quick, let me just give. I need to give apologies. I'm gonna give them.
I was gonna give you a chance to do it, please.
Yeah,
by all means.
I'm gonna give my apologies. And I'm only going to give my apologies to 3 people.
Okay.
Only 3 people.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to give my apologies to Chuck.
Okay.
Okay. I gave him hell. Even though I pulled back on him, I did try to not include you. Remember I told you? I don't include you. But you know what? I did still give you hell. So I'm going to apologize. I'm going to apologize to Chuck.
That's one. That's one.
Number 2, I'm going to apologize to Manny, even though he doesn't really deserve it. The reason why he doesn't deserve it is because Chuck wasn't betting against the Yankees. Manny was betting against the Yankees in many series, which is why he won back what he lost this weekend, because in August I called a sweep of Tampa Bay. I said Yankees were going to sweep them, and I think we were at the game, right? Me and you, and Manuel at the game. I called the sweep. Okay?
Yes.
And number three, I'm going to apologize to myself.
Wow.
And the reason I'm going to apologize to myself is I gave myself false hope.
Mm-hmm. You need an apology?
I need to apologize to myself. I went to
self-love. I get it.
I went to 25 Yankee games this year.
Mhm.
25 games. And how? I have no idea, but I went to 25 games. Okay? And every time I went to the game, I'm like, okay, I would love to go to a ticker tape parade. I think we can possibly do it. I think that we're going to go on a run. I think we have a team that could possibly do it. And then a day like today happens. So I apologize to myself for giving myself false hope because I feel sad now. I'm disappointed that I'm going to go to bed drinking a non-alcoholic beer when I could have been sipping on the good stuff.
Yeah. Hey, I could give you my address. You can send that champagne to me. I can drink it for you just fine. I was a little surprised when I heard Chuck's name. It made sense. I heard Manny's name. It made sense. I'm like, there's only one spot left, and Greg and I haven't been mentioned yet. Interesting.
I don't apologize to Met fans, but
well, hey, you know what? It's okay. I could see why you're acting that way. I told you. You're not used to the heartbreak. Your body, you're like freaking out. Your body's like, what's going on? I don't know what this is like. This is what it's like to be a Met fan, to have high hopes and have them dash very quickly. The way that game went was exactly how a Met game would go. All right. You go into it thinking, yeah, we have a shot. We have our best guy on the bump. We're going to do well. And in the first inning, when I told Deck on Smoke and Mirrors, it's a tight butthole. That's when you're nervous. When you are on the edge of your seat, every play, every pitch, you're like, man, I hope this doesn't happen. And it happens. Runners get on, hits start to fall. And then when you're up at the plate, when it's your turn to hit, you see an Evaldi up there dealing. Not one of your hitters really giving you a chance except for Stan. Judge. That is a textbook Met loss. Completely. And hey, whoa, Eddie, it's my time. It's my time to talk. Yeah, your apologies. I would have loved an apology from you. I don't need an apology. Would have loved one. I am basking in this red glow right now. You see this? It is so nice. This is why I put this on, because as a Mets fan, you get used to rooting for anyone going against the Yankees. You said it earlier. It is a very much a thing. And I think all baseball fans at one point, when the Yankees just couldn't be stopped, they were rooted against the Yankees. But this red glow, I feel like I'm getting superpowers almost, just being and basking in it. It is so nice. It was a great game, one. We could all admit it was a great game. But I'm happy for the Red Sox. They started off like they stunk. They let the Orioles run all over, just beat them up. We thought they weren't going to be a good team. Stayed in the AL East in the lead for a while until the Rays took over. And they dragged ass down the stretch. But here they were, going up against the Yankee team that was struggling the same way. But they edged them 6-2. So I will not take my apology now. I will allow you to offer it off air. You don't have to do it on air. Declan, though, is a different story. I'll have my my little bib ready when he comes up to serve his.
Well, I just want to say tomorrow in the hitless streets, tomorrow morning when I arise from my beautiful sleep tonight, I will be making a post where I want everybody who mocked me and doubted me and Manny, you're going to have to come and comment on that post and apologize. Eddie, you're good. Carl's good too, because Carl doubted us also.
Yes,
but Carl ended up and apologize, and I'm sure he's having a nice time wherever he is with the wife. But Declan has to be the first one to apologize.
Deck owes a lot of apologies. Let's be honest.
It will be a lot of apologies tomorrow. I want a lot of apologies. But Eddie, I'm happy that you're finally seeing the light, and that's all I ever wanted for you. You're a good guy. I'm happy that you saw the light. There you go. Look at that. You saw the light. You saw the.
Oh no! Look at him taking the lights off.
That's it. Steph, and you know what? I want to give a thank you for you. You spent your Tuesday evening with us. Thank you for coming on and giving me this chance to bask in all my glory.
For sure, Chuck. I mean, I'm as excited as you. This is exactly what we predicted, and here we are. You're Mr. Right. I'm Mr. Right. Like, we're Mr. Right together. And Greg, when he's on Friday, he's going to be Mr. Right as well. There's going to be so much to celebrate and enjoy. So, Chuck, I hope that post goes well tomorrow. Declan, if you're listening, I assume you are because you didn't want to be on, but I'm sure you're watching. You can be the first to respond to his post to, again, eat that crow. And I'll be seeing you on Friday, Deck. Don't you worry. Chuck, a.k.a. Mr. Right. Eddie Gonzalez, a.k.a. Mr. Loser right now. I'm glad you guys came on. My last burn for you, Eddie. My last burn for tonight. I'll see you in the chat though. Ladies, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. This was a special edition late night recap of the Yankee loss, the AL wildcard game, 6-2 the Yankees lost. And it was a pleasure, guys. It was a pleasure. So thank you again for joining us, and back to your regular scheduled programming for tomorrow, Wednesday's show.
Have a good night, everybody.